Hey everybody, Jake here with TrendSpider to go over a special video on how you can use TrendSpider and Cheddar Flow together. We have the bundle package going on right now for a couple more days, so wanted to come on to this video with Will, the founder of Cheddar Flow, and go over some different ways to use Cheddar Flow, and then look at the charts and see how you can use both Cheddar Flow and TrendSpider together. So Will, thank you for joining us today. Let's take a look a little bit about just what Cheddar Flow is, some different flow setups coming into the end of the day and throughout the day. And then we'll look at the TrendSpider side of things and get an idea of, how the technicals and the order flow align.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Jake. So Cheddar Flow basically follows smart money activity. We mostly look for unusual options activity. We only stay with the order flow that's looking for calls, anything on the ask side and above, and puts, anything ask side and above. We don't look for anything that's bid side and below, mainly due to the fact that we want to keep the flow pretty clear. There's usually a lot of noise when it comes to order flow in general. And this actually helps traders look for mostly bullish directional plays at that, or mostly pure directional plays, if you want to rephrase it that way. So yeah, we also have dark pool equity blocks. These come in real time as well, and it's just another value added confluence to all the data that you see with the options order flow and all that good stuff. So
awesome. So there's always flow coming in. What were some interesting ones today, which is Tuesday, March 2nd? What were some different orders coming in that piqued your interest that we can look at on TrendSpider afterwards?
Yeah, so last week there was a lot of volatility in the market, but the start of this week, things are looking like they're clearing up a little bit in terms of not a lot of noise. We're seeing a lot of pure directional flow happening, and I got three different symbols for you to look at today. One is going to be General Motors.
All righty. What was so when you mentioned that the flow is coming in on General Motors, was it mostly call flow? Were there dark pool prints coming in, or could you show us a little more about kind of how that looks on the platform?
Yeah, let me bring it up in the search field. So what we can basically see is right off the bat, there was 97% bullish call flow coming in. One of the other things that I really love to look at, and I get this question a lot with traders, is how to utilize specific strategies. It's incredibly hard to tell users, go with this one strategy, it's one and done. When you're trading, every single trader has their own different style. The one I mostly look for, it's very simple. It's the one that kind of works for me. I love to swing a little bit, so it might not necessarily be more of a day trade. But when I see this type of activity, I really enjoy seeing contracts that are about a month to 2 to 3 months, and even going all the way to next year. With GM, we're seeing a lot of unusuals. But like I mentioned, we're seeing a lot of activity going into the April 1st and April 16th. Some of them are looking pretty interesting in the fact that they're also out of the money. But when we activate the opening filter, we're seeing that 88% of it is actually bullish. Good amount of unusual activity in there as well. But one main thing that gives me a higher probability for this trade is also that they're opening. So this is, we can really start assuming that these traders are going in and buying these positions. Additionally, like I mentioned with the dark pool activity, we're seeing a good amount of blocks coming through the dark pools. Something to note that General Motors doesn't necessarily have a lot of dark pool activity throughout the week. I think today and sometime last week were one of the few days I've seen it win in about a month for these dark pools coming in and hitting this name. So the probability is just rising for me that this could have some bullish upside movement.
Makes sense. Makes sense. The next one that you mentioned was NTES. Can you tell us a little bit about what's kind of this looking like on the platform?
Yeah, so the reason why I'm bringing this one up, you can see that there's no flow in this name over here, but we do see one dark pool activity shown up today. But the main reason why I'm bringing this up, and shout out to Davis Trades, he brought this to my attention yesterday, is the fact that if we actually go to the historical page and look this name up from the activity that was going on yesterday, you can see that these were catching my attention. Long-term dated contracts, $2 million premium coming through, unusual. And both of these are opening orders as well. So that's adding to my my purchasing conviction. And the other thing is this NetEase hasn't caught flow in the last 3 weeks. So when you see these names just pop out of nowhere randomly within the order flow, you definitely should be looking at this a little bit more clearly and seeing what is going on from the order flow level and on the technical analysis level. Additionally, this is the only dark pool equity block that came through as well. So it's definitely piqued my interest.
And it looks like they're out of the money as well compared to the spot.
Yeah, right. That's correct.
Last one is PayPal. PayPal looking good on the flow side of things, looking like it.
PayPal is looking actually really good. You can see that throughout the day today, it's just been getting hit with repeat call activity. Got a couple unusuals in there, but look at the contract expirations that they're going to. They're going summer. They're going into a little bit later on in the year as well. And once again, PayPal dark pool activity coming through, which is additionally adding to that conviction of something could possibly be happening in this name. And it's leaning more of like an upwards movement. But the other thing I wanted to bring up about PayPal is if we look through the 7-day flow, and then we see this massive $10 million order come through last week, and they're going all the way out till next year. And this is big whale coming in over here. It's given me clear conviction that traders are seeing strong momentum in this name, and it's another one definitely worth watching.
Love it. Love it. Well, we've got 3 to look at on TrendSpider, all of these having flow coming in over the last day or two. We've got some dark pool orders coming in. So let's take a look at the charts and see how we can use this order flow with the chart side of things going into the weeks ahead and even the months ahead. All right, so we looked at 3 different stocks on the order flow side of things using Cheddar Flow. I want to look at the chart side of things using TrendSpider, really using technical analysis and this order flow to get a better picture of what's going on. Obviously, all of this is great information, but remember, there's never going to be an end-all be-all indicator. You have to look at everything. You have to look at even more than just the flow and the technicals. But I did want to go over these examples that Will went over, really looking one at the raindrops, especially on GM. So GM has seen some flow over the last couple of days. And on top of that, we broke out of a pretty important level. So we broke out of this swing high anchored VWAP here today on Tuesday, March 2nd. You can see that we also blasted through this volume shelf. So you can see here that there were multiple days that this acted initially as a break-even supply zone. So as the price is below this area, it took a little bit of momentum to really get through this area where a lot of people were holding at break even. Now a majority of these shares are holding at a gain. And you can see not only that, but you can see there's volume at the top of the range on Tuesday's raindrop, which if you go to the hollow candle, you'll see that there's a lot of volume within this wick. So you have this bulge of volume here. And then we go to the hollow candle and we'll see that we have this wick. And so what's really interesting about this is generally, if you're seeing volume within a wick like this, you shouldn't really look at this being selling pressure coming into the end of the day. What's more likely happening is you have some very aggressive buyers coming in, pushing the price up. And once those buyers are done for the day buying, everyone has their X amount of shares that they want to buy in a day with some type of plan, especially an institution. Once they're done buying, this wick is not really formed by a bunch of sellers coming in. That's just simply the demand curve shifting back to the left with that aggressive buying being done for the day. So the fact that we have this bulge of volume in the raindrop tells us that there was conviction by buyers at the top of the range, or we wouldn't see this bulge of volume here. We'd see this volume allocated somewhere else on the day's range. But the fact that we have this volume within this wick tells us that there was high conviction by buyers at the top of the range, definitely showing some bullish momentum, as well as the fact that we blasted off this volume shelf here today. Now, we do have this ascending triangle as well. So I've anchored the volume by price from the swing low, which is also where we're starting this ascending triangle support zone. You can see here that we've really only had 2 areas that have been tested. This is generally when I'll pull up another line and make it more of a horizontal, or excuse me, a parallel line to the original line. So this is where I'll go in and I'll, make this a dashed line. So instead of just 2 points, now we have 3 points, which makes it a legitimate zone, trend line zone, if you will. So GM definitely showing potentially a setup going into the rest of the week. And really the main thing to notice here is all that volume at the top of the range, even the past 2 days, which set us up for a pretty strong move into Tuesday. And the main thing would be to break this 57 area. And Will, what were those calls? Those were like $60 plus calls coming in. So someone's clearly betting that we break through this resistance above. NTES. This is one that Will also talked about. So same thing, we'll kind of anchor the volume by price from this swing low here. And you can see we're trading right at this volume shelf. Now, not as much volume at the top of the range during the second half of the day for Tuesday, March 2nd, but you can still see that volume is definitely supporting price here. If there was not a big volume shelf here, that'd be something to consider. But the fact that we do have a lot of people holding at break even here, this is where you'd anchor a VWAP from above, and we'd really want to break through that 116 zone to really get going. I think those calls were 120s. So someone's clearly betting that we're breaking through this anchored VWAP from the swing high within the next couple weeks. Just all in all, this is a really great way to see how are the technicals aligning with the order flow. Anyone that's really loading up at this area, they're not the only one loading up. We already know that there's a ton of shares holding at break even here. So will supply dry up and any uptick in demand really ignite this? We'll have to see, but the technicals and the order flow are aligning here. Now, PayPal is another one that is definitely had a pullback from these February 16th highs in the 300s or low 300s. And this is a little different. So we'll anchor from these election lows here again. You'll see here that we are starting to form a little bit of a base here. The main point of control, the main volume shelf is still way down in the 230s, but we do have this secondary shelf starting to form here. Price is respecting it, but we also have the anchored VWAP handoff. So you can see here that I've anchored a VWAP from these election lows. You can also see here that I've anchored another VWAP from this last candle that tested this anchored VWAP. So this is the handoff. You can see that this anchored VWAP handoff really acted as a level multiple times here. So we have it here. We also have it here. And then you can also see that with this candle right here being the last candle to test this anchored VWAP, this is where we anchor another VWAP as the second handoff. And you'll see that the price is holding here pretty well. Another thing to note is the fact that we did have quite a bit of volume supporting price above that anchored VWAP yesterday. Today, not so much on Tuesday, but you can see that quite a bit of volume is still aggregating above this anchored VWAP from this handoff point on January 27th. So this is a great way to utilize the anchored VWAP, the raindrops, the anchored volume by price in conjunction with the Cheddar Flow order flow coming in both on the dark pool side, the option side of things, and really just a great way to combine the two forces. And we do have that bundle package. So, you can get both of these platforms together. If you're a customer of Cheddar Flow or just a customer of TrendSpider, both parties will work with you together. So if you just have TrendSpider and you want to go sign up for Cheddar Flow, I'll let Will mention how to get in touch with them at the end here. But for us, just reach out to hello@trendspider.com. If you have any questions about, maybe you already have Cheddar Flow and you want to sign up for TrendSpider, or vice versa. The customer success team is happy to help you with that. And then on the Cheddar Flow side, Will, how can everybody get in touch with your team if they do have, let's say, TrendSpider and they want to sign up for Cheddar Flow?
Yeah, you can reach out to us. You could actually just DM our Twitter or our Twitter handle, or the best way to get in touch with us is just reach out team@cheddarflow.com or support@cheddarflow.com as well.
Beautiful. Well, the bundle package is still going on for a few more days. Hopefully this video was helpful in understanding how you can use both of these platforms together, not just using technicals, not just using order flow, but using both of them to complement each other and get a much better view of what's going on in the market. There's a lot of variables in the market. These are two variables that we're looking at. Everything that we're going over is not advice to go buy all these stocks immediately. This is simply just looking at how you can use these two platforms together. And hopefully this video was helpful in understanding how you can do that. Hopefully everybody has a great evening and a great day whenever you're watching this. And thanks for watching, and let us know if you have any questions about the bundle package.